that had this happen to them and they were dying, you'll see a lot of action, man. Right now, so all right, so that goes into the news for a while, everybody cries, and they all go to sleep again, they forgot. And then they'll just move on again. It's the legislators that have to feel that impact.
Well, how much does that influence legislation, that if at all?
I think money influences legislation.
I think also the public perception, I think this is what you may be getting to, the public perception of addiction itself. That addiction, there's a lot of shows right now on addiction. There are a lot of very high-profile people who are either getting arrested or we're finding out that they have drug problems or, in fact, they're dying. The celebrities obviously expose this to the general public because the general public would probably never question about addiction or how it works or any of these methods, or even be interested in it unless these things happen. How significant is that? I'm not quite sure exactly what impact it truly have, but I do think it brings it at least it brings it to the table. People start talking about addiction.
It sort of changes some of the stigma associated with addiction as well. Because addiction was always something where we said to the addict, well, it's your fault. It's your problem and it's your fault. And now that there's all of these inadvertent addicts being created, it's kind of created an entirely different environment for the whole discussion about addiction.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, I have 4 questions. And I also have a statement. We're the parents of an addicted man who's been addicted off and on since he's 17. He's been in 2 drug programs. He's been arrested. He's presently on probation. Regarding the training, I think it was Dr. Sandhouse, that training is going to be the same training every 2 years?
If you are in the 80 to 120 hour course will be required to be repeated every time you renew your license, which is every 2 years. My thinking and the recommendations that I gave to the board with regards to that is that was probably a little bit of overkill. It puts a huge burden on the physicians that would take essentially 2 weeks out of their practice, 2 weeks out of their family time. If you're going to do that in a short amount of time as possible, you're away from your practice for 2 weeks, which is a financial liability. Otherwise, let's say we spread out over 8 weekends. Okay, now it's 8 weekends away from your family. So I'm wondering if that isn't going to be challenged. The Board of Osteopathic
Is the material going to change, or is it going to be the same material every 2 years?
Well, and that was also part of the reason that I recommended something a little bit softer. The Board of Osteopathic Medicine actually took a softer stance. They require you to do that on the initial time, and then every 3rd cycle, and then in between just 20 hours. There's a lot of pain management that does not change. There may be new medications that come out, there may be some new procedures that come out, which is why our recommendation was about a 40-hour refresher course every 2 years.
They call addiction a medical model, okay? And it's not being treated as a medical model. No one's looking at thyroid. Thyroid can cause depression, anxiety. No one's looking at closed-head injuries can cause behavioral problems. No one's looking at so many of mercury poisoning. We're finding mercury poisoning and lead poisoning in our clients. The laboratories are not lying. This is what we find. So there's a lot of reasons why also, unknown to a lot of physicians, why people become addicted and how to treat it. And the standard of care that's going on in addiction treatment centers have been the same for 50 years. And it's not really changing except the software. They're dealing real well with the software, the behavioral things. They're not dealing with the hardware very well. And that's what we need to look at as an industry. So we have to update ourselves also, and also the medical community. We have to start looking at things globally instead of just looking at, well, mommy left him when he was free, and daddy did this, and that's why he became addicted. That's not necessarily the answer. That may be part of the answer.
Well, we've been through a lot of that. But I'd like you to address I believe in the disease model. My son does not. My father was an alcoholic, but he denies that it is a disease, and therefore, where does choice come in? And when he continues to make the wrong choice, what do you do?
Well, if you're using a brain that's offline, you have to realize something. Your brain is affected. Your frontal lobes are affected. First of all, that's where your motivation is. That's where your executive thinking is. And you're medicated. So choice becomes kind of like touch and go. The hardware is damaged. And what you do is you get interventionists. You got to go get educated. There's a lot of things. Denial is the biggest problem with addiction and also compliance.
And also, it's a great point. My law firm, one of the laws that we utilize consistently is a Florida law called the Florida Marchman Act. And the criteria of that, one of the criteria is that the person has an inability to appreciate their own need for care or make any kind of rational decision regarding that care. You have to look at the addicted person as not understanding or having the ability to understand that they need this kind of help. You know, oftentimes we ask ourselves about the choice, or why are they doing this? But really, think about when you have an addict and what addiction is. It is a compulsive disorder.